Welcome to Facts TV News, where everything is true. Bail revoked for St. James woman and drive-by murder rap. Sudeen Hilton, the woman charged with the August 12 shooting death of Richard Jimmy Baker in Glendevon, had her bail revoked when she appeared in the St. James Parish Court to answer to charges. Hilton's freedom was reportedly withdrawn after the court concluded that the surety she offered to have gotten bail was deemed unfit. She will remain in custody until January 31st, 2022. She definitely will not be having the traditional Merry Christmas this year, a police officer familiar with the case reported. The past week has been filled with drama for the 30-year-old Hilton, who is from Hendon, Norwood. She narrowly missed it last Thursday shortly after reporting to Rambo Police Station, Hanover, as condition of her bail. Reporters understand that Hilton and others were traveling in a motor car along the Mount Pedro Main Road when a motorcycle with two men overtook them. When the car rounded a corner, the vehicle was confronted by the bikers, who reportedly opened fire at the occupants with rifles. The driver and the occupants escaped into bushes. It was later discovered that Hilton suffered a bullet wound to a leg. In the incident in which Baker was killed, reports are that he was driving along the Salt Spring Main Road when he stopped to check a problem on his vehicle. A white Toyota Axio motor car reportedly drove up alongside him, and the occupants opened gunfire on him, hitting him multiple times. He died at the Conroe Regional Hospital while undergoing treatment. The police, acting on information Baker had given them before his death, reportedly tackled the vehicle to Sam Sharp Square. Some of the occupants fled the vehicle, but Hilton, who was reportedly driving the vehicle, was arrested. Havana Heights horror. Tuesday's night attack on a family of four in Havana Heights, Clarendon, is a stark and chilling reminder of the pre-dawn quadruple murder in the community on September 12. Residents in the central Clarendon community have been on tenterhooks since the murder of two sisters, their nephew and another relative, that joined the country, with stakeholders beckoning for increased police presence in the community. The latest attack has left a family patriarch, 43-year-old Mark Chopper Ricketts, dead. His spouse and children, aged 3 and 9, were hospitalized in serious condition. Reports are that about 7:20 p.m., Ricketts was entering his home when he was pounced upon by a gunman who opened fire. Reporters understand that the 3-year-old boy was shot in the head. Up to Wednesday evening, there were no updates on the family status. Stakeholders in the parish have condemned the attack. Winston Mirage, mayor of Maypen, said he is saddened by the yet another brutal attack in Havana Heights. He is urging the police to apprehend the perpetrators. I would also like to appeal to the warring factions within this community, as well as other warring factions in other communities that are constantly killing each other, to desist from doing so. Calm down and see how best they can work things out amicably, he said. Lawton Cousins, Member of Parliament for Clarendon Southwestern, has called on the government to implement a clearly thought-out and articulated crime plan. The MP, who was one of 5 opposition lawmakers who voted against the extension of states of emergency in November, called for a greater partnership between the community and security forces. It also underscores the importance of investments in the social infrastructure within these communities to deal with the root causes of crime and violence, as well as the need for government to increase its investment in acquiring necessary tools to aid in the crime-fighting effort, Cousins reported. Deputy Superintendent of Police Cardoso, whose oversees operation in the parish, has made an appeal to anyone with information to contact the police. Persons may contact the Maypen Police at 876-986-2208, Crime Stop at 311 or the nearest police station. As at December 11, 101 people have been murdered in Clarendon. This is a 7.4% increase compared to 94 homicides for the corresponding period last year. Elaine Thompson-Herah conferred honorary degree from UTech. Multiple Olympic gold medalist Elaine Thompson-Herah received yet another significant award and recognition. The fastest woman alive was conferred with an honorary Doctor of Laws degree during the University of Technology's UTech virtual presentation of graduates on Sunday. Adding to the doctorate, Thompson-Herah was also named World Athletic Female Athlete of the Year and ACAC Female Athlete of the Year, and she recently received a diplomatic passport from Prime Minister Andrew Holness. After accepting the award, Thompson-Herah expressed her thanks to her many supporters. On her Twitter account, she wrote, "I thank my UTech family for awarding me with this honorary degree of Doctor of Laws. Thank you, my fans and sponsors, for always helping me to keep the flame to my fire. Enough love and bless up." In expressing her congratulations to Thompson-Herah, Minister of Sports Olivia Green said, "Congrats. Fast Elaine for getting yet another significant award and recognition," on a Twitter post. Prime Minister signals intention to shake up the Heart NSTA Trust. Prime Minister Andrew Holness has signaled his intention to shake up the Heart NSTA Trust. Speaking in Parliament, Mr. Holness pointed to what he sees as the failure of the institution to fulfill the needs of stakeholders. He also announced that they'll be recruiting a new managing director for the institution.
Not fit for purpose. Prime Minister Andrew Holness is of the view that the nation's premier skills training institution has not fulfilled its mandate.
There is an issue with the organization, and we do see that the organization is in need of a strategic review. The organization, not just now, but for a long time, it is a large organization. And, we see where there may be a disconnect between what we claim as being trained versus what other agencies put out as being the numbers trained. And from then, we're seeing that there is this misalignment.
Mr. Holness says strategic steps have already been taken to realign Heart in support of youth development. He points to the merging of the institution with the Jamaica Foundation for Lifelong Learning and the National Youth Service and the Apprenticeship Board as the adjustments. He says it's time to go further with the reforms to fulfill its mandate.
The organization needs to be totally reformed to be able to actually fulfill the mandate. I appreciate that the member has asked a question, and I share his sentiments about the direction of the organization, but to assure him that there are changes that are being made. We are now in the process of hiring an executive director, so they will go out shortly with the ads for that. We are doing internal reviews, and I will announce shortly the appointment of a strategic review from an operational perspective.
Mr. Holness yesterday in Parliament expressed confidence in the chairman of Heart Trust, Edward Gabidon, despite calls from the opposition for his sacking. Mr. Gabidon is still under scrutiny for conflict of interest issues. He's CEO of a company that is a major supplier to the trust, a position the opposition feels requires his removal. However, the Prime Minister says he retains confidence in Mr. Gabidon, who he believes understands the need for change at the institution. Mr. Holness says he's seized of concerns of misbehavior on public boards, but he notes with concern that impropriety at the staff and management level far too often does not come under scrutiny. The Prime Minister says this will be the next step toward reform, not only at Heart, but across the public sector.
We are taking steps to treat with governance issues, to treat with conflict of interest, connected parties and so forth. But there is another side to the equation, because the failures of public bodies are not just failures at the board level. There are failures at the staff and management levels as well. And based upon our labor laws, it is not always very easy for immediate action to be taken when you do not get output and value for money from performance.
Government moves to assure Jamaicans that NHT is working to meet housing needs of contributors. The Prime Minister is moving to assure Jamaicans that the National Housing Trust NHT is doing all it can to meet the housing needs of its contributors. In handing over more than 100 new housing solutions in Perth, Manchester, Mr. Holness says since his government's new mandate to the Trust, it has significantly ramped up its capacity to build homes for its contributors. The Prime Minister says he's determined to prove wrong the cynics who say that NHT isn't meeting its mandate.
The Prime Minister says he's aware that there are skeptics and cynics who believe that the government's premier housing provider, the NHT, is failing to meet its core mandate. But Mr. Holness says the trust is rapidly expanding housing opportunities in the country. He says over the next 5 years, The trust will construct more than 20,000 new homes.
Currently, the NHT has in the ground, and I want the skeptical persons, the cynics, the persons who are, and genuine, this is genuine. People are just frustrated because they want to get their housing solutions, and I'm here today to give them hope, to say to you, this is being done right now in the ground. Never ever happened before. The NHT has 12,019 units in the ground under construction, and it has in planning 9,641 units. So when you put that together, to be delivered within the next 5 years, and probably long before the next 5 years, 21,660 units.
Mr. Holness says the trust is moving as fast as it can to meet the ever-growing demand for housing in the country. He cites developments in Manchester as an example.
So in all the history of the NHT put together, since our new mandate to build house, the NHT has increased its horsepower multiples over to now moving from 100 and 200 to now doing 1,406. And that is not a promise. That is happening now. That is going on right now. So for the disbelievers, the cynics, and the skeptics, we are doing the best we can, moving as fast as we can to increase the capacity and deliver more housing so that you can get an opportunity.
The Prime Minister says the trust is determined to ensure that a wide cross-section of Jamaicans benefit from affordable housing regardless of their income level.
There is an opportunity for all Jamaicans. And I think that's very important to be said to address this perception that the NHT is not doing its job or fulfilling its mandate.
Nora Gay Banton for Nationwide News.
Local analyst welcomes Diamond League's move to revise Final 3 format for next season. The Final 3 format for horizontal jumps and throws will be revised for the 2022 Wonder Diamond League season after consultation with athletes. Local sports analyst Leighton Levy says the organizer of the Diamond League made the right decision.
Following consultation with athletes, coaches, broadcasters, meeting organizers, and athletes representatives, the Wonder Diamond League General Assembly approved the revised Final 3 format at its meeting in Rome earlier this week. The new approved format will see the best throw or jump from the entire competition, not just the Final 3, win the event. The second best performance will take second place, and so on through the rest of the athletes and places. Sports analyst Leighton Levy says it's good that the organizers of the Diamond League has finally realized what everybody else had known all along.
Them reverting to the usual format for the field events is actually a good thing. I thought the Final 3 thing was ridiculous. It was never popular among the athletes, and it made no sense. We saw in a Diamond League meeting this year where Yulimar Ross jumped 15 meters and finished second to Jamaica's Shanika Ricky, so I'm sure Shanika is happy for that. But it makes no sense that somebody would jump 15 meters and lose in an event to somebody jumping less than 15 meters. It was ridiculous. I understand that that World Athletics wants to change things up and make it more attractive, but maybe it's more about making the best athletes compete at the meets all the time than bring fans to the meet. So it's a good thing.
To build drama and additional excitement into the competition and assist with event logistics and presentation, the best performing athletes will compete at the start of each round, not at the end. There will be a short break after the first 5 rounds before the Final 3 compete, and any live field and track events will be stopped for the duration of the Final 3 competition, so broadcasters can focus on the head-to-head competition.
Thieves plunder street lights, wires in Hanover. Jamaica Public Service Company JPS infrastructure in Hanover is now under siege as thieves have removed street lights and power wires with impunity, blanketing roads and many communities in total darkness at night. The Orange Bay to Negril Roadway, which recently had 10 street lights installed, is back to almost pitch black as 8 of those have been stolen. Some transformers have also been damaged. Barlin Jarrett, Senior Vice President of Energy Delivery at the JPS, said the company's supplies and infrastructure have been badly impacted by theft, vandalism, and damage. We have a situation where the facility of the JPS are being encroached on its many ways. There are persons who have tampered with and damaged the transformer on 2 occasions, said Jarrett. A standard transformer can last up to 30 years, said Jarrett. Jarrett suggested that competent electricians were deeply involved in the illegal obstruction of power, but cautioned against the view that company contractors per se were behind the practices. Anyone who knows anything about electricity, any skilled electrician can do it, said Jarrett. The JPS has issued instructions for the remaining 2 street lights along the stretch of the road to be removed and secured under remedial action, which additional protection is taken. I am expecting that the necessary works will be done during the course of the ensuing week, and when this is done, we will put back in the distribution infrastructure, and then we will replace the lights, Jarrett said. Those works are targeted for completion before Christmas. Once the lights are reinstalled, the JPS will be engaging councillors in the Hanover Municipal Corporation to support their efforts to rally residents to protect the electricity infrastructure. Marvel Sewell, counsel for the Green Island Division, reported that he is eagerly awaiting the replacement of the lights along the Orange Bay to Negril thoroughfare. Responding to JPS call for councillors to assist in protecting the power infrastructure, Sewell urged the light and power providers to act swiftly on reports. Labour Ministry to host job fair. The Ministry of Labour and Social Security will host another in the series of job fairs to provide employment for Jamaicans, especially those who are seeking engagement in the hospitality sector. The final job fair for 2021 is scheduled to take place from December 28 to 30. Speaking with reporters, Director of Electronic Labour Exchange in the ministry, Lyndon Ford, is encouraging persons living in Trelawney, St. Mary and Hanover to participate in the event. He is also making a special appeal to individuals who lost their job due to the pandemic and other trained hospitality workers to visit the ministry's employment portal and register through the Labour Market Information System LMIS at www.lmis.gov.jm. Job seekers with the skill set, such as chefs maintenance technicians, housekeepers, bartenders, waiters, carpenters, plumbers, AC technicians, preventative maintenance managers, maintenance software administrators, and restaurant managers are being encouraged to submit an application. According to Ford, these are highly sought-after persons in the hospitality industry, and with the country slowly reopening, there are several jobs opportunities at different hotels across several parishes at this time. We are therefore asking persons who have the requisite skills and experience to upload their resumes to facilitate them accessing to be a part of our job fair, he said. Ford pointed out that only persons who are shortlisted will be invited for an interview. They will be required to provide official proof of qualification, 2 references, 2 passport-size photographs, the National Insurance Scheme NIS number, tax registration number TRN, and 2 or more hard copies of their resume. Ford reported that the last job fair, held early December, was a success with over 70% of the persons shortlisted hired immediately. MOH says digital vaccination cards to be available by December 20. The Ministry of Health and Wellness has advised that come Monday, December 20, digital vaccination cards will be made available to the public. This means that persons who have received their COVID-19 shots will be able to download their vaccination verification cards from the Ministry of Health and Wellness website as proof that they have received the jab. Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton made the announcement during a media briefing late Wednesday. Tufton shared that the digital cards will bring Jamaica in line with the global COVID-19 vaccination standards. The Vax card can be downloaded at vaccert.moh.gov.jm. The downloadable Vax cards will feature a quick response code which the MOHW says will enable the information in the card to be validated. The digital Vax card will also be able to generate a new card on demand. The electronic feature allows the card to be accessible via phone or other electronic devices. The card will be accepted by international airlines and government globally. The MOH has also indicated that in a bid to ensure equitable access to these cards, all fixed vaccination sites will have a team of persons to support the public in the printing of cards on request. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, and click hit the notification bell for daily updates.